Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a fantasy comedy film, Little Nicky. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The movie starts with a Boy Scout and her mom as they enter their house after a long day at school and work. Up on the tree, a peeping Tom sits on the branches with a glass of wine, as well as some picnic gears and peeping gadgets for him to peep through the Boy Scout's hot mom undress in her room upstairs. Minutes later, peeping Tom fantasizes about the mom's movements, from removing her shoes that he wants to rub with his throbbing rigidity, to unbuttoning her shirt, which peeping Tom describes as Victoria's hormone secret. Unfortunately, his wayward reverie ends when the Boy Scout enters the room to show his school project. Utterly frustrated, peeping Tom calls the telephone, in which the Boy Scout answers. As it follows, peeping Tom suggests the Boy Scout leave, and that he is a big bird who wants to see the rest of his mom. While he says the words, a surge of dirty thoughts comes inside peeping Tom's begrimed mind. Eventually, the Boy Scout's mom notices the man on the tree. This makes peeping Tom pretend like a giant fat bird, flapping its wings like a hopeless lunatic. Furious about the maniac, the Boy Scout uses his slingshot, which results in peeping Tom falling down the tall tree. When he opens his eyes, peeping Tom finds himself in hell. A man in a cloak and white painted face, which happens to be the guard, talks to him to reassure that he is indeed the raunchy guy they are expecting. Afterward, a giant black bird appears behind peeping Tom, chasing him away. Inside the castle lives the big figure, Satan, with many tiny horns attached to his head for antenna use, called Horny Satan. Horny Satan's youngest and kindest son, Nicky, is listening to heavy metal music. He is an awkward guy with an emo look and acute facial palsy, who prefers to be called Shoveled Face rather than Nicky, after his brutal brother hit his face with a shovel. That day, Horny Satan calls his 3 sons to announce that since it is his 10,000th year as Prince of Darkness, the time has come to discuss who will sit on the throne next. However, after a few moments of deliberation, Horny Satan decides to rule hell all by himself for the following years. Considering the verdict, both the ruthless son nicknamed Brother Ruthless, and the brutal son nicknamed Brother Brutal, get mad. On the other hand, Shoveled Face favors the decision. Shortly after, Adolf Hitler shows up in a sultry-made look, as Horny Satan shoves a giant pineapple inside the heap of his behind, fair enough for a dictator like him. Upon this occurrence, we can say that punishment is a real thing in hell, and bad people always get the worst, as they deserve. Next, a sports announcer pleads with Horny Satan to go back to the living for the Super Bowl, in exchange for the eternal damnation of his soul, but Stan declines. Meanwhile, Brother Brutal and Brother Ruthless talk about going to Earth, to destroy as many souls as possible they can. They cross the falls of lava, which is a wrong move, for it freezes the lava fall and will block new souls from coming to hell, which will definitely result in chaos and the deterioration of Horny Satan. Unfortunately, the guard could not stop Horny Satan's sons, so as a punishment, Horny Satan puts a pair of tantalizing beacons on top of its bald head. Following this, Horny Satan orders his youngest son Shoveled Face to go to Earth and make his brothers drink the liquid in a flask that can trap them inside. When Shoveled Face reaches Earth, he is hit by a running train, so he returns to hell. After such a scenario, he comes back to Earth again, where he meets Horny Satan's friend in the shape of a bulldog with an angry face. Following this, the angry bulldog reminds Shoveled Face of what he must do to adapt to the planet. Thereby, Shoveled Face tries to get the angry bulldog inside a bottle, mistaking it for a genie. Outside, they meet a blind missionary, who runs away after Shoveled Face approaches him. As it happens, he experiences the need for heat, so the angry bulldog offers him a bucket of hot fried chickens, instead of hot dogs. Moments later, he gets hit by a vehicle once again. Once in hell, he compliments the guard wearing a brassiere, to hide its mounts before returning to Earth again. While they walk on the boulevard, the angry bulldog tells Shoveled Face that he misplaced the allotted money for a nice pad on the Upper East Side. Well, in fact, the angry bulldog spent it on hookers and booze. In that event, he has no choice but to live in an apartment with a theater actor roommate. Once asked where he came from, Shoveled Face jokingly says that he is from the Deep South. Alternatively, the angry bulldog remains outside, pissing on the I Love Acting doormat, but fortunately, not dumping any bullshit on it. When the night falls, the roommate gets up after the sound of continuous loud growls, which happens to come out of Shoveled Face's snores. The next day in the chapel, the priest acts strange by going against the Lord, and pointing out the wrong sides in each citizen's concerns. A little while later, the priest and a blackmailer stand up to convince everyone that the Lord hasn't done anything for the people. That is to say, these two happen to be the ruthless and brutal brothers, who escaped hell to spread devilish acts on earth. While this is happening, Shoveled Face is still on the run to find his brothers. He asks everyone on the street to get in with the flask, assuming they could be his brothers. Still unfamiliar with human acts, he even imitates the angry bulldog while it pees in the middle of the busy street. It's a pity that the bulldog is still not seen dumping any bullshit. Moments later, Shoveled Face finds himself back in hell again after he forces a bear to get in the flask. Exhausted by his pursuit, he sleeps on a colossal rock, snoring so loud like a pig ready to attack, where a smuggler robs his flask. Two long-haired guys witness the robbery, so they wake him. As a consequence, Shoveled Face suddenly spits blazing fire, showing his fury. Eventually, he figures out that the smuggler steals things to sell in the street. He tries to scare him with his flaming eyes, but the smuggler mocks him with all sorts of funny facial expressions. Before Shoveled Face relieves her full rage, a blonde girl called Blondie threatens the smuggler by telling the police about his stealing habit. Subsequently, Blondie invites Shoveled Face for a gelati. Before they part, he makes sure to compliment her coconut-smelling perfume. On the flip side, everything is a mess on Earth. Kids are drinking hard liquor, while the ruthless son of Horny Satan watches them amusingly. Not long after, he recognizes Shoveled Face with Blondie, so he uses his power to control him. Henceforth, Shoveled Face insults Blondie in the worst way possible. As we can infer from the previous occurrences, Shoveled Face seems to have an immense amount of power waiting to come out. After all, he is the Prince of Darkness' son. He hesitates to release his innate abilities because he is afraid it would wreak havoc on humanity. While watching a chaotic basketball match, Shoveled Face conspires that his brothers caused the riot, so he wastes no time to go there and save the day. He tries to release the evil inside him, but it seems uncontrollable, for the ball explodes, and the reporters' headsets are on fire. While this is happening, the audience is going wild. A grandmother rips her shirt off, a child curses, and the two long-haired guys from earlier are there to witness the scene. Owing to that moment, Shoveled Face and Brother Brutal agree to settle the fight in a basketball match. After a few dribbles, intense running, and broken glasses, Shoveled Face wins. At that point, he offers the flask to Brother Brutal. Due to excruciating thirst, Brother Brutal drinks from the flask. A minute after, the flask devours him till he is trapped inside. Back at the apartment, Shoveled Face attempts to impress the two long-haired guys, his roommate, and the angry bulldog with his supernatural powers, one in which his head revolves around in 360 degrees. It is not even a big deal. He can do anything he sets his mind to. Longing for Blondie, he follows her scent leading to her apartment. He greets a hairy gay in one of the windows, before climbing up to Blondie's room. Surprised by his sudden appearance, Blondie shoves him away, causing him to fall. Fortunately, his ability to fly works wonders. With this in mind, he explains everything to her before they fly high above the city that one romantic night. The next day, Shoveled Face's face is all over the news. On that note, everyone in the city starts to attack him, thinking he is the bad guy. The truth is, Brother Ruthless pretends to be him to ruin his image to the public. When he comes back home, he asks the roommate to kill him, which he willingly does. That way, he can talk to his father in hell. Once there, the sight of Horny Satan's body decomposing welcomes him. This gives Shoveled Face the determination to defeat his brother, so his father can live. Concurrently, the two long-haired guys betray Shoveled Face. They tell Brother Ruthless, who inhabits the body of a police chief, to go to the gateway to hell where they can find Shoveled Face. After that, Brother Ruthless captures the roommate and the bulldog, waiting for their friend to arrive from hell. In the meantime, one of the long-haired guys offers Brother Ruthless to drink in his flask. Being the smartest one, he figures out that Shoveled Face is the one inhabiting that body. Therefore, when Shoveled Face comes out of the body, he forces him to drink in the flask, which he refuses to do. Unfortunately, Blondie follows them, so she becomes bait for Shoveled Face to take. Since a train comes, he alarms Shoveled Face to drink or else the girl will die. Before he can even have a sip, the angry bulldog manages to save him through a dart he unleashes between his crotch. However, this does not stop Brother Ruthless from tagging Blondie along with him to die. Considering his unconditional love for Blondie, Shoveled Face pushes her away, leading to the death of him and Brother Ruthless. Shoveled Face wakes up in heaven, where he meets three angels. To his surprise, one of them is his mother, who stays young, for that's how heaven works. This makes him so happy because all his life, he thought his mom was a goat. Meanwhile, Brother Ruthless comes back to hell where Horny Satan is nothing but a mouth and a pair of arms. Once he realizes that he can sit on the throne, Brother Ruthless invades the earth to torture and acquire humanity's souls. Wanting to help the people from demise, Shoveled Face goes to Earth with his mother's ball of light. He escapes from an army of devils by distracting them with butterflies, bunnies, and giving them fried chickens. Once he gets to where Brother Ruthless is, he fights with him using good things, in which Brother Ruthless contradicts evil things. Shortly after, Brother Ruthless manages to put Shoveled Face inside the flask. When he magically escapes after a fight with the brutal brother, Blondie approaches him to exchange saliva. Alarmingly, Shoveled Face is a pretentious image Brother Ruthless creates. Clearly, Blondie kisses Brother Ruthless. He then shapeshifts into a bat. Devastated, Blondie suggests Shoveled Face, who's still in the flask, to turn to butterflies, so he can escape. Luckily, her plan works. Once Shoveled Face comes out of the flask, he uses the ball of light, which liberates a man named Ozzy. Without any mercy, Ozzy gobbles the bat, before he puts it inside the flask. The next step is to return to Hell, so he can still save Horny Satan before he vanishes out of thin air. Be that as it may, he asks Blondie to kill him. When he comes back to Hell, Horny Satan greets his youngest son with a hug. After a heartfelt conversation, Horny Satan agrees to send his youngest son on Earth. Consequently, Horny Satan inserts the flask inside Hitler's derriere. It looks like Horny Satan also has his own favoritism. The movie ends with Blondie and Shoveled Face living together with their son, who breathes fire quite frankly. What is more, Blondie accidentally hit his face with a shovel, so it is in proper shape now. On the other hand, the angry bulldog gets married to the love of his life, a rat, attempting to bear their child named Bullcat, whereas the roommate man and the hairy boy find each other's same way hormones attractive. Of course, the damned guard with bristles on his head married a Chewbacca. Horny Satan and the angel mother of his youngest son tried to date but failed to remain lovers. Unfortunately for the two long-haired guys, they died due to a plane crash, but they are in hell now, and that matters the most for them. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.